This week we're going to learn about the cardiovascular system. And the cardiovascular system consists of two things. It consists of your heart and blood vessels. And the job of the cardiovascular system, its main job, is to transport oxygen to all of the organs in your body. Oxygen is so essential so you can make energy. Now, so oxygen is needed to make energy. The other job is that we need to get rid of carbon dioxide. So your cardiovascular system is going to get rid of any carbon dioxide. It's going to get rid of any waste. And it's also going to help with transporting nutrients around in your body. Another really important aspect of the cardiovascular system is that it's a way to get those immune cells, those white blood cells, around the body so that they can fight any infection throughout your body. And the last really important function of the cardiovascular system is it's going to help maintain homeostasis in your body. Specifically, it's going to help maintain your body temperature. The blood flow is going to help keep the body warm and keep it at the correct temperature. It's going to help balance the pH of your blood so that it's neutral where it needs to be. And of course, it's going to help deliver that oxygen and those nutrients throughout the body, which is important for homeostasis. Now, real quick, let's talk about red blood cells. Because red blood cells are what's being transported by the circulatory system. Now, red blood cells are, we already know, they kind of have this like donut-like shape, but they're like biconcave here. And red blood cells contain this molecule called hemoglobin. And hemoglobin contains something called heme. And if you zoom in on heme, it actually contains iron. So heme is an iron-containing molecule. And heme is what actually binds to oxygen. So the oxygen will bind to the heme, and then it's carried around in your body, and the oxygen can be delivered to where it needs to go. I've told you before, some people have this condition called anemia, and one of the things that could cause someone to be anemic is if they don't get enough iron in their diet. Like iron is really it's found in a lot of red meats, it's found in beans, it's found in certain nuts and fish. And when people don't eat enough iron in their diet, there's not enough iron in their red blood cells to bind to oxygen. And when there's not enough oxygen being transported in the body, they'll feel very weak, very tired all the time. So some people have to actually take these iron pills to supplement because maybe they're vegetarian or they don't get enough iron in their diet. Now, let's talk about the circulatory system real quick. A lot of these pictures in this PowerPoint, you're going to see red in the picture indicates oxygenated blood. So blood that has oxygen in it. And when you see these pictures that look blue, blue represents no oxygen, so deoxygenated blood. And sometimes in the pictures you're going to see purple color. If you see purple, that means mixed blood. It's mixed with some oxygenated and some deoxygenated mixed together. In real life, our blood is always red. There's no such thing as blue or purple blood, okay? Our blood is all red. It's just like different shades of red. So when you have oxygen-rich blood, your blood will actually be very dark red. And if you had oxygen-poor blood, your blood would actually be a lighter red. But no matter what, our blood is red. But whenever we see them in pictures, it's easier to understand if we have blue, red, and purple. Now, in circulatory system of animals like fish, okay, fish have two-chambered hearts. They have one ventricle and one atrium. If we look at an amphibian's heart, they actually have a three-chambered heart. But there's a big problem with the circulatory of amphibians, and that is, look at how much purple there is here. Their blood is all like mixed blood. They don't have a lot of red here. They have mostly mixed blood. This is really inefficient. Their blood is not oxygen rich. It's all their oxygen rich blood and oxygen poor blood gets mixed together. So this is like a less efficient type of circulatory system. Now, luckily, humans and most mammals and crocodiles, okay, we actually have a 4-chambered heart. Okay, our heart has 4 chambers. We have 2 atria, okay, 2 atrium, and we have 2 ventricles in our heart. And this is fabulous because our blood can stay separated. Okay, we can separate that oxygen rich blood from the oxygen poor blood. And there's only a little bit of blood in our body that's mixed. That's going to happen no matter what. So this is a highly efficient system, having this 4-chambered heart where we can separate that oxygen rich, oxygen poor blood, and our bodies can maintain high energy levels because of all the oxygen that's being transported. Now let's talk about the classes of blood vessels. There's 3 main classes. The first class are arteries. And you might also see something called arterioles. Arterioles are actually just small arteries, all right, smaller arteries. What to remember about arteries? Arteries carry blood, they carry blood away from the heart. No matter what, arteries, A for artery stands for A away. Arteries carry blood away. So in this picture here, here's our heart, okay? Arteries carry blood away from the heart to your body, down, this is your lower body, below your heart, and arteries carry blood away from the heart to your upper body, to your brain. Okay, your brain needs blood, needs oxygen. Now, another place where you see arteries is this right here. Because look, here's your heart, and you can see the arrows pointing away. So this is an artery that's carrying blood to your lungs. So a lot of people think, oh, all the arteries are red. That's not true, okay? This is an artery that's oxygen rich. This is an artery that's oxygen rich. But right here, this is an artery that doesn't have any oxygen, but it's still carrying blood away. So that's the only characteristic of an artery. It carries blood away. Now, let's talk about the number 3 here first. The second type of blood vessel is a vein. And you might also see something called a venule. Venules are small veins. Now, what makes a vein? It carries blood to the heart. So carries blood towards the heart. Okay? So let's look back at our picture here. Here's a blood vessel that's bringing blood to the heart. This must be a vein. Okay, it's carrying blood from the lower body back to the heart. And here's another vein carrying blood from the brain. Up here's your brain. Okay, it's carrying blood from the brain back to the heart. So that's also a vein. And then the other place you'll find a vein, here's your lung, and you have a blood vessel that brings blood from your lung back to your heart. Okay, so this is also a vein. It's the pulmonary vein. It's bringing blood from your lung towards your heart. And if anytime blood's going to the heart, it's a vein. And our final type of blood vessel is a capillary. Now, in these pictures, capillaries are always these little purple guys. Okay, capillaries have mixed blood. So there's a capillary here in your kidney, capillaries here in your digestive tract, capillaries up here in your brain. Okay, so capillaries, their job is to bring oxygen to these different organs, to your brain, to your kidneys, to your digestive tract, and in the process they pick up any waste or any carbon dioxide. So capillaries are where that exchange occurs. So once again, arteries. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. Arteries are made up of 3 types of tissue. We learned about tissues last week. The first tissue is on the inside, okay, pictured here. This is that artery. Here's the inside. This tissue is epithelium, all right? So it's an epithelium tissue first. Now in the middle, there's a layer of smooth muscle. That's this, okay, smooth muscle. And then finally, on the outside is connective tissue. So inside epithelium, in the middle is smooth muscle, and on the outside is connective tissue. Arteries have a very high blood pressure because if you look back at our picture here, arteries carrying blood away from the heart. A lot of these arteries, these bigger arteries here and here, they're oxygen rich. So they need to be able to carry that oxygen rich blood. There's a high blood pressure there. And they also need to be able to stretch. They need to be able to expand and stretch. So there's a lot of elastic fibers. Elastic allows for stretching so that those blood vessels can expand. Capillaries, they do not have 3 layers like arteries. They're very thin. They're simply made up of just epithelial tissue. That's it. And they need to be very thin so that oxygen can get out really quick, nutrients can get out, and those carbon dioxide can get in. All right, so here in the capillary, that's where the exchange is going to take place. Oxygen is going to leave the vessel and go to the organs of the body like kidneys and things like that. And then carbon dioxide and other wastes are going to go back into the capillary. So capillaries have that mixed blood. And then finally, veins. Veins have the same layers that arteries have. They have an epithelial on the inside, smooth muscle in the middle, and connective tissue on the outside. The thing about veins, the blood inside a vein has very low blood pressure. And the problem with that is the blood, if we look back at our picture here, the blood's very low blood pressure. We do not want the blood to go backwards, like fall backwards, like toward the organ. We don't want that to happen. We want to make sure the blood is moving in the right direction. So veins have something called valves. Valves are kind of like a gate that prevent the blood from going in the wrong direction. Really important to prevent blood from flowing backwards in the vein.